We're back to give you the legal edge, and this evening we're focusing on the concept of holding employers legally responsible for the conduct of their employees. In some cases, the law allows for an employer to be held responsible, but in other cases it doesn't. So local attorney Bryan Waldman from the Sinus Stramus law firm explains why there are seemingly inconsistent results.
It's called respondeat superior, and all that means is the master must answer, or that an employer is ultimately responsible. The key here is that the employer is only responsible for the wrongful acts of an employee if that occurs during the course and scope of the employee's job. If a bus driver or a courier is simply driving down the road during their business hours, doing what they're supposed to be doing, making a delivery, and they run a red light, they're in the course and scope of their employment. And obviously, if they harm someone, the employer is going to be responsible. But if a delivery driver or a courier decides while they're on the clock, I'm going to go rob a bank, and while they're trying to get away from the police, they run a red light, robbing a bank isn't what they were employed to do. They were employed to make deliveries, and the employer would not be responsible.
What about something that's not so clear cut? So say, a situation that's not really a crime, but it's against the rules or against policy.
Well, that's where most of these cases come down to gray areas. And most of the time, the ruling is going to be that the employer is still responsible. If a bartender juggled glasses and their employer told them, don't do that, and one of the glasses broke on the bar and cut someone who was there and enjoying something to drink, still the employer would probably be responsible in that situation because the bartender is trying to do something to impress the customers, trying to promote the business, even if the boss or the employer may not like what's happening.
So this idea that the employer who didn't play, an active role in the employee's bad behavior and maybe even discouraged it might, not sit well with some, particularly employers, Bryan.
Yeah, but if you think about it, and I'm one of the people who would disagree with that. I think it is a good rule. I think that we want employers to be responsible, and there's a number of reasons. One is they get the benefit of the work of their employees, so the employer ought to assume part of the risk of things don't go well. In our society, I think we want people to be fully compensated as much as possible if they're harmed by the neglect of someone else, and the employer is in a better position than the employee to make sure that happens. And then we also want to encourage good conduct, and we want employers to build incentives in to make sure that their employees do act responsibly.